Have you ever stopped to wonder why those who once shone with vibrant energy, sharp intellect, and a deep zest for life seem to slowly fade after reaching their 80s? It isn't simply a tale of genetics or fate. For many, reaching that milestone is seen as a tipping point where the inevitable hand of time and chance take over. Yet, when you look closely, the picture is far more nuanced. What really happens after 80 goes beyond the conventional wisdom of diet, exercise, or avoiding dangerous habits. It delves into the realm of subtle shifts and everyday habits that, when allowed to slip away or change, can gradually undermine the physical, mental, and emotional aspects of our well-being. It all begins with those seemingly insignificant moments, the small smiles, the brief nods, and the passing greetings exchanged without a second thought. Remember a time when you would look forward to a friendly hello from the mailman or the quick banter with your local grocery store clerk. These small interactions, which experts call microsocial engagement, are far more than fleeting moments of courtesy. They serve as an unspoken yet vital connection to the community, a daily affirmation that you belong, that you are seen, and that your presence matters. Over the years, these minor, often unnoticed engagements create a vibrant tapestry of social interaction that fuels our inner life. However, as many of us move past the threshold of 80, those microsocial encounters begin to vanish. It might be that you now prefer to have your groceries delivered rather than stepping out to pick them up, or that the cheerful interactions with familiar faces are replaced by a reliance on phones or the internet. For some, it's simply a matter of convenience. For others, it's a consequence of physical limitations like declining hearing or mobility issues. Whatever the reason, the gradual disappearance of these everyday exchanges sends a quiet yet powerful message to your brain. It suggests that your role in the active social tapestry is diminishing. And that message, even when delivered in gentle whispers, can cause ripples throughout your entire system. When the brain senses that the usual rhythm of social contact is fading, it reacts. Studies have shown that even low-level loneliness, even when it isn't the deep, soul-crushing isolation many fear, can trigger stress responses. Hormones shift, inflammation slowly creeps up, and the body's immune defenses begin to erode. In layman's terms, the mind and body are deeply intertwined in a dance where each small human connection acts as a cue, reminding your system that it is not alone, that it is part of a larger, pulsating web of life. Without this continual reinforcement, the networks that govern memory, attention, and emotion gradually shrink. The result is not a dramatic collapse, but a slow and steady descent into a quieter, less vibrant state of being. Yet, amid this sobering truth lies a message of hope. Because these processes are gradual, they are also reversible. Many individuals in their later years have rediscovered their vitality by simply reintroducing even a few moments of social connection into their daily routines. It might be as simple as stopping to chat with a neighbor on your afternoon walk or making a routine phone call to a friend who lives nearby. Even brief smiles and nods, the very essence of micro-social engagement, can renew your inner sense of purpose and help rewire your brain back into the... After all, life is not measured merely by the grand gestures or milestone events. It's built from the countless small moments that we often overlook. Each interaction is like a drop in the ocean of our shared human experience, a reminder that even the smallest contact carries the power to spark joy, reduce stress, and reaffirm our place in the world. So, before you let that subtle isolation set in, consider the simple act of reaching out. Remind yourself that every greeting counts, every nod, every smile, every shared glance is not trivial. It's life-affirming. But what if the shifts in our life are not just about social interactions? Consider another facet of how our lives change after 80. The transformation from cautious activity to dangerous inactivity. It is a natural reaction, at least initially. Imagine that one day you have a minor mishap, a slip on a wet sidewalk, or a near fall on an uneven step. In that moment, a surge of protective instinct takes over. You decide to be extra careful. You minimize your movements and retreat into a more sedate routine. After all, caution is a virtue, isn't it? Initially, it might even be applauded by others, a sign of wisdom and prudence. But as weeks turn into months and months into years, that same caution can morph into a self-imposed cage of inactivity. When you constantly opt out of physical movement, the body begins to take notice. Muscles, like any other part of a living system, require regular use to remain strong and flexible. They thrive on movement as much as they need rest. Imagine your body as a machine that needs to be warmed up and exercised regularly. When that machine sits idle for too long, parts of it begin to degrade. The deep trunk muscles that support your posture, your balance, and your coordination are among the first to weaken. Even more, the body's very coordination, a complex orchestration of the nervous system and muscle fibers, starts to falter when regular activity is reduced. Consider the tale of Walter, an 82-year-old who once relished his daily evening walks. He was known for his lively stride and his habit of greeting everyone he met along his route. Yet, after one particularly rainy day when a minor slip made him wary, Walter slowly confined himself to the safety of his home. At first, it was a sensible precaution, but as his walks dwindled, so did his physical strength. Within a few months, the very act of getting out of a chair became an ordeal. His legs grew weaker, his balance wavered, and the confidence that once shone brightly in him dimmed. Walter's story is not unique. It's a common pattern. The fear of a fall or injury, when taken to extremes, creates a feedback loop. In this cycle, the absence of movement leads to weakening, which then reinforces the fear of movement, and the cycle continues, trapping you in a self-imposed state of frailty. The remedy, however, is as simple as it is profound. While it's essential to be cautious and respect your body's limitations, it is equally important to keep it active. The goal is not to defy common sense, but to nurture your physical vitality by engaging in safe, deliberate movement. Whether it's a slow walk in the park, gentle stretching in the morning, or even participating in an exercise class tailored for older adults, every bit of movement reawakens those fading muscles and reminds your system that you are still very much alive. In this respect, the prevention of inactivity isn't just about physical strength, it's a foundational element of maintaining your overall spirit. And then there's the matter of sleep, a cornerstone of health, particularly in our later years. Deep within each one of us is an intrinsic timekeeper, a circadian rhythm that governs not only when we sleep and wake, but also many other bodily processes. Our metabolism, our mood, our ability to repair tissue, and even the very function of our brains. Throughout our lives, this internal clock is regulated by exposure to natural light. In our youth, we rarely give a thought to this synchrony. We simply wake up with the sun and retire when it sets. Yet, as the years accumulate, and particularly after the age of 80, this clock becomes alarmingly susceptible to disturbances. Imagine waking up not to the gentle glow of a sunrise, but to the harsh, uninviting light of an alarm clock. Instead of being caressed by the early morning sunlight, you find yourself squinting in a room that never seems quite bright enough. And in the evenings, rather than the gradual dimming of light, you are bombarded by the relentless blue glow of electronic screens, televisions, smartphones, and computers, all vying for your attention. Even a seemingly benign habit, such as leaving the living room light on while watching a late-night movie, can disrupt that delicate balance. Over time, these disruptions accumulate, erasing the natural cues that tell your body when it's time to wake up and when it's time to rest. What results from this misalignment is far more detrimental than a few restless nights. The compromised sleep cycle throws off the harmonious interaction of hormones, particularly melatonin, a hormone that signals the onset of deep, restorative sleep when darkness falls. Without adequate melatonin production, your body struggles to enter the phases of sleep that are crucial for physical repair and cognitive consolidation. In addition, the lack of natural light exposure during the day and its replacement by artificial illumination further confuses the internal clock. The consequences are multifaceted: diminished immune function, lowered mood, cognitive fog, and a general sense of lethargy that compounds the physical wear and tear of aging. But here's the silver lining. By restoring a more natural cycle, waking up to the sun, basking in daylight, and allowing the evening darkness to signal your body's winding down, you can realign this internal clock. Even simple adjustments can bring about significant improvements. Take, for example, a woman in her mid-80s who had grown accustomed to spending her days indoors with the curtains drawn, a habit born out of convenience rather than necessity. Her sleep was disrupted, her mornings groggy, and her overall vitality compromised. A small change, spending 20 minutes each morning by an open window, coupled with a dimming of the lights an hour before bed, brought back the natural rhythm of her body. Her sleep deepened, her mood lifted, and the fog that had settled over her mind slowly dissipated. It was not a miracle cure, but rather a gentle reminder that our bodies are hardwired for the natural cycles of light and dark. When you reconnect with these rhythms, you pave the way for your body's intrinsic healing and rejuvenation processes. Equally significant in the landscape of aging is the often unspoken burden of emotional suppression, a heavy cloak worn by many as they navigate the later stages of life. By the time you reach your 80s, it is likely that you have experienced more loss than you might ever have imagined. A spouse, siblings, lifelong friends. Over the years, each loss leaves its own mark. Society, for its part, often encourages a stoic silence in the face of such sorrow. There's an unspoken expectation that by now, you should have learned to live with the pain, to tuck it away, so that it does not disrupt the veneer of everyday life. And so, many choose to bottle up their grief, to internalize their sorrows instead of allowing themselves to express them. Yet, this quiet suppression of emotion is far from benign. Studies have long shown that unexpressed grief and chronic emotional stress can have a profound impact on one's physical health. The body, like a finely tuned instrument, responds to emotional strain by altering hormonal balances, elevating stress markers, and even interfering with the immune system. In essence, every unspoken word of sorrow, every tear that was never shed, adds to a cumulative burden that wears down the very fabric of one's well-being. The heart, in particular, suffers not just from the emotional weight, but from the physical tightening that comes when stress is held too long without release. Consider the story of an 86-year-old man who had lost his life partner after decades together. Despite his outward appearance of calm, those close to him could sense a growing heaviness, a quiet resignation that slowly seeped into every part of his life. His appetite dwindled, his energy faded, even his once lively eyes grew distant. It wasn't that he had become resigned to fate, rather he had locked away a torrent of unexpressed grief in the hopes of sparing himself further pain. But as the years passed, that locked-away sorrow became a weight that burdened every cell. In contrast, those who have found safe havens, a trusted friend, a counselor, or even a community support group to share their deepest feelings often report an unexpected lightening of their overall sense of being. Expressing grief, they find, is not a weakness. It is an act of courage that releases emotional pressure and allows the body to heal. In the end, acknowledging and sharing our pain, however quietly or tentatively, can be one of the most powerful steps we take toward reclaiming our vitality. And then there is the matter of purpose, a seemingly simple yet profoundly critical element of daily life. For most of us, our daily routines are punctuated by small tasks that give our days structure and meaning. Perhaps it's tending to a garden, making a favorite cup of tea, or even engaging in a small act of kindness for a neighbor. These routines are not mere habits. They are the scaffolding upon which our day-to-day existence is built. They provide a sense of direction, reinforce our identity, and ensure that even in the quietest moments, we know that However, as years turn into decades, the routines that once provided meaning can become disrupted. Social engagements might dwindle. Cherished hobbies may no longer be pursued with the same vigor. And even the simplest act, like getting out of bed with a clear goal, can become a struggle when daily purpose begins to slip away. Without these anchors, life can start to feel adrift. The body, so intricately tied to our mental and emotional state, responds to this void with lethargy. Metabolism slows down, muscle tone diminishes, and the energy that once propelled you forward seems to vanish. It is as though the body, deprived of the gentle but persistent push to keep moving and contributing, gradually resigns itself to a state of quiet inactivity. Yet, this loss of purpose is not irreversible. Even the smallest adjustments, a new routine, a renewed hobby, a simple act of service, can rekindle the spark of meaning in your daily life. In many ways, rediscovering purpose is about reclaiming the joy found in the ordinary. It may be as modest as feeding a stray cat, sending a handwritten note to a friend, or even setting aside a few minutes each day for quiet reflection. Each of these acts, no matter how small, sends a powerful signal to your body and your mind. You matter. You have a role in this world, and when you begin to feel needed, valued, and actively engaged, the benefits are both immediate and far-reaching, touching every aspect of your health. As we look at these 5 key areas, the critical role of microsocial engagement, the silent trap of overcautious inactivity, the disruption of natural sleep cycles, the dangerous cost of unexpressed grief, and the gradual erosion of daily purpose, it becomes clear that aging isn't a monolithic process predetermined solely by the passage of time. Rather, it is a dynamic, ever-evolving tapestry woven from countless small choices and habits. The quality of life you experience in your later years is less about the number of years lived and more about the life that fills those years. Each day holds the potential for renewal, a chance to reintroduce the small interactions that brighten your world, to challenge yourself with even modest physical activity, to recalibrate your internal clock with natural light, to allow your emotions the freedom to be shared, and to rediscover those daily rituals that give meaning to your existence. It is a process of continuous reinvention, a mindful effort to nurture every aspect of yourself. Rather than resigning to the inevitability of decline, consider aging as an opportunity for transformation, a chance to reclaim your narrative and rewrite the way you experience life. Imagine beginning each day with the resolve to engage, even in small ways, with the world around you. Picture yourself greeting a familiar face on your way to the store, or spending a few extra minutes chatting with a neighbor who passes by your window. Visualize taking a slow, deliberate walk in the early hours, letting the cool morning air and soft light awaken your senses, and then returning home with a mind refreshed and a spirit recharged. Perhaps you set aside a specific time each evening to disconnect from the artificial glow of screens, instead drawing the curtains to let the natural darkness ease your body into a restful sleep. And maybe, when the weight of unexpressed sorrow feels too heavy, you reach out, a phone call, a letter, a quiet conversation, to share a piece of your heart. In these moments, every small action reinforces the idea that you are still an integral part of a larger, interconnected. Such mindful choices are the building blocks of a vibrant later life, a life that is not defined by limitations, but by the resurgence of engagement, movement, and emotional expression. They serve as a reminder that every day is an opportunity to press the reset button, to restore the connections that keep your brain, body, and heart in harmony. In reflecting on all of this, it is essential to recognize that the process of aging is not a static descent into decline, but a dynamic journey, one that can be shaped, influenced, and even revitalized through thoughtful actions. The challenges that come with aging, such as the loss of everyday social contact, the fear of movement leading to sedentary habits, the breakdown of natural sleep cycles, the heavy burden of unspoken grief, and the loss of routine purpose, may seem insurmountable at times. However, each of these challenges is also an invitation to take control of your life in new and meaningful ways. There is a certain beauty in understanding that every action, no matter how small, has the potential to ignite change. Every smile shared with a stranger, every step taken outside despite the lingering fear of a fall, every moment spent in natural light instead of artificial glare, every emotion allowed to surface and be understood, and every daily ritual resumed with a fresh sense of commitment. All of these are acts of empowerment. They are a testament to the idea that you are not merely a passive recipient of aging. You are an active participant in shaping your destiny. As you move through your day, remember that the collective impact of these choices is profound. They accumulate, slowly but surely, rewriting the story of your aging process. Instead of a narrative of inevitable decline, you can craft a story of resilience, renewal, and boundless possibility. The simple acts of engagement, the micro-interactions that once seemed trivial, are, in fact, the lifeblood that sustains you. They remind you that you matter, that you are an essential thread in the intricate tapestry of community and connection. So, as we draw this journey together to a close, I invite you to consider the power of your daily decisions. Think about that one moment when you choose to step outside, greet a friendly face, and embrace the natural world around you. Reflect on the importance of maintaining a movement-rich routine, even if it means taking baby steps at first. Cherish the moments when you allow yourself to feel deeply, even if it means shedding a tear or sharing a sorrow that you've long held inside. And above all, reclaim the small, daily rituals that remind you of your purpose, your value, and your potential to live a life that is as rich and vibrant as the years you have yet to experience. In this journey of mindful aging, you are never truly alone. Each of us faces the challenges of time, but we also share the incredible capacity to renew ourselves and to rekindle the inner spark that makes life worth living. Your story is unique, and the choices you make each day, no matter how seemingly insignificant, are the brushstrokes that paint the larger picture of your life. Embrace them, invest in them, and let them guide you toward a future where age is not a measure of decline, but a celebration of the continuous, ever-evolving dance of life. Before we part ways today, I want to extend an invitation to each and every one of you watching this video. If you found these insights meaningful, if they sparked a thought or resonated with a deep part of you, please show your support. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel for more discussions on how to live life fully at every age, and tap that notification bell so you're always updated with our latest content. Join the conversation in the comments below. Share your experiences, your hopes, and the small steps you're taking to rejuvenate your daily life. Your engagement not only inspires me, but creates a community where together we redefine what it means to age gracefully and vibrantly. Thank you for being here, for taking the time to reflect on these important ideas, and for allowing these words to become part of your personal journey toward renewal and vitality. Remember, the journey of aging is not a predetermined path dictated solely by time or fate. It is a dynamic process influenced by the choices we make every day. So let us choose to engage, to move, to feel, and to live with purpose. Until we meet again, stay active, stay connected, and above all, stay inspired. Your life is a canvas in constant creation, and every moment is an opportunity to add a new, vibrant stroke of color. Embrace each day with gratitude and intentionality, knowing that the power to transform your experience of aging lies in your hands. Like, subscribe, and share this message with anyone you believe could benefit from these insights. Let's continue this conversation, support one another, and build a community where every stage of life is celebrated. Thank you for watching, and remember, your best days